right, welcome everyone to the 2025 Hardrock Endurance Run. This is Mountain Outpost. I'm Corinne Chalvoy.
I'm Dan Ryan.
And we are bringing you 2 days of pre-race interviews with some of the athletes participating in this year's event. Super excited to get this kicked off with our first guest, Michael Wardian. Welcome, Michael.
Wow, that's cool. I didn't know I was the first guest.
Yes.
So thanks for having me.
Amazing, for sure.
I think I was the only one who signed up for this time slot, maybe.
Get it out of the way early. Go
Right.
rest. Go chill. Well, thanks for being here, Michael. This is your fifth running of Hardrock.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess first question is kind of why are you back? What do you love about this race?
I'm back. Well, I was lucky enough to get a spot in the lottery, and so like anytime that I think you apply and you get the spot, you pretty much want to be here. And so when the results came out from the lottery pool, I was like, oh man, I got to 100% be there. My wife was agreeable to me coming this year. Last year was not a chance for me to enter. So yeah, I just love the community. I love being in the mountains here. I love the sense of adventure you get, like being out there. Like you never know what you're going to get. Like I remember one year Jamil and I were like crashed out at an aid station for like 2.5, 3 hours, and I was trying to quit so bad, and like and they resuscitated me because they're just like the best. And it's a chance to share the mountains with a bunch of new people. I have like a new crew this year for the most part, so I'm excited to like be on an adventure and get to be in the mountains and spend time with a bunch of like-minded people.
So I remember that a couple years ago you were in that aid station for quite a long time. What got you out of that aid station?
It was my crew and then the aid station itself. Like all the aid stations, like I was just helping this morning, like getting everything packed together, and literally like there's like any ailment you have, like there's a solution at the aid station, and the people are like trained, but they also like care. Like it's like this like love that's at the aid station. And so when I was in the cot, like trying to quit, my crew was like, why don't you just hang out for a little bit? And then literally like Matt Trapp was like baby bird feeding me back to health with like saltines and like ginger ale. And he was like making me eat like, I don't know, he probably had a watch timer set or something, but it just felt like every like 15 minutes he'd be like, have a couple more calories. And then eventually, I don't know what happened. I was like, I can make it like to the next aid station. But literally like if my mom, I was like laying down on the trail that day, and if my mom like was able to be there and be like, hey, I can take you home right now, I would have been like, yes, sign me up for that. Like I would have quit so easy. But I'm glad I didn't. And I don't know. I want to see the whole loop, and I think that's why I'm here, is to like get a chance to be out, get to see the sunset, sunrise, and then hopefully get to share an adventure with a bunch of new people.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your crew. Do you have pacers this year? Just, shout them out, because as we all know, they're integral to making these things happen, and sometimes it's more stressful on them than it is the runner. But tell us a little bit about your team this year.
Yeah, man, I'm so lucky. I am partnered with Teva, so I have two of the guys from Teva, Zach and Nick, are here. So like we are testing product, and like they're gonna also like crew and pace me, so that's gonna be super cool. And Nick's like a super badass runner, so like I think he's basically like whatever no one else wants to do, he's gonna be that pacer. So I literally have no idea how many miles he might be running. 30 miles. Then I have my buddy Kyle, who's like a really incredible athlete and also a photographer, so he's gonna be here. And he's also like one of my clients that I coach. So like, it's cool to like be able to program him pacing me, as part of, his training. And then, I have like, literally we were at, our son graduated from, high school this year, and there was a guy asking me what I'm doing for the summer, and I said, I'm going to Hardrock. He said, my son lives in Denver, and he runs ultras or whatever. And I was like, that's cool. So this guy, Alex, who I've never met before, who's the son of one of the kids that goes to school with my son, is going to be part of the crew too.
Very
and then
cool.
my buddy Tom, who I work out with like 5 days a week.
Nice.
So it's going to be really fun.
So the course is going in the counterclockwise direction this year. Looking at the course and the challenges associated with this direction, what part of the course do you think is going to be kind of like the hardest point for you, or like what is your not least favorite, but part of the course that'll be more challenging this direction since you have a lot of experience on this?
I think for me, the hardest part is always going over the 14ers, just coming from sea level and being a flatlander. So like the nice thing is that it's early in the race, but I don't think that that doesn't usually matter for me. And usually it's actually worse earlier in the race, which seems counterintuitive because the longer I'm at altitude, the better during the race I seem to do.
So like acclimatized during the race?
Yes, exactly. Like I 100% acclimatized during the race, which is like so stupid, but that's usually how it works. So when Handy's is like at, I don't know, it's a little after 27 miles, and then I think it's like 16 miles or something, I usually get my butt kicked. And that's like usually tries to end my race. So like if I can just make it past that point, like the rest of the race is like impossibly hard, but like I'll know that I don't have to like worry about that aspect of it, and I won't ever have to be that high again during the race. And so I think that's a big factor in like mentally being strong. And like you also don't have pacers at that point, so you're kind of alone at that point in the race, which is fine, man. I've got so many great books and audiobooks and music, and so like I'm not stressed about that, and I like being alone for that first section. But like just being alone going over handies, like when you have crew and pacers going over handies, it's a little bit different. And so like, yeah, that's the part that I'm most concerned about, which is silly because it's not that far into the race. But that's the part that that's the part that usually punches me in the face. It's like that Mike Tyson quote. It's like everyone has a plan. Like my plan is to like not feel terrible going over handies, and then the rest of the race hopefully should be like just, keep eating, keep drinking, like keep being smart. And then,
So, Handies takes its pound of flesh, because I think that's something that we've heard from a lot of people just being around the run. After that, you'll get down to Animus, and you're going to pick up a pacer at Animus at that point?
Yeah, that's my plan, yeah.
Cool.
So somebody like that, we're actually having a crew meeting later once everyone gets in to see like Alex, the guy whose son, he had a part that he wanted to do, and I was like, okay, I don't think anyone else cares. So like, we'll just like have people decide what sections they want, and then like I don't care. Like I can do it by myself, but I like to share it with people if I can.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess a question kind of along these lines, but shifting gears a little bit, Michael, you have such you've been in the sport for such a long time, which is incredible, your longevity, but you do things that kind of run the gamut from, Olympic trials, marathoning to obviously Hardrock and
to the depletion mile. Anyone that's here on Sunday, please come.
Oh yeah, the depletion mile.
Yeah, 7 a.m.
That's the real race of the weekend.
Well, I just did a mile like a couple of weeks ago and went like 4:53. So I don't know if I can match that at 9,300 feet.
Sweet.
But I'm gonna try.
After Hardrock.
After
Hardrock, that might be the other variable.
Yeah.
I mean, you're multi-time Badwater finisher. So, like, how do you think about something like Hardrock? Do you adjust from a strategy and time on feet standpoint, or do you have kind of mental strategies going into it, thinking about just I'm going to be out here for X amount of hours, or kind of how does it differ in terms of mental strategy from some of your other racing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big part of it. I mean, you have to know that I think the fastest I've done it is like 28 or 29 hours, and the longest is maybe 34 hours. So like I'm just planning to, like it could take until the end, which is like 48 hours. So like just being mentally prepared to like be able to run that long. And I think for me, it's always been like being able to deal with the altitude. And really that's the biggest factor. Like I'm pretty confident in that I can run as many days as I need to, and in any kind of terrain, especially after doing like the Appalachian Trail last year, where like every day you're doing like 10 to 15,000 feet of elevation gain. Like I'm not super stressed about that as much. It's just more like, how is the altitude gonna affect me? And then just knowing that you got to keep eating and drinking, because that's the biggest thing for me is like, I lose energy and then I don't want to eat or drink, and then that's just a bad combination. Yeah,
but it's like you need more because you're at altitude.
Yeah,
but you don't want to.
Feel like
have there been any go-tos from nutrition or things you've learned over your Hardrocks?
I mean, usually I can get down like liquid nutrition pretty easily. That's usually the biggest thing. Except like for me, like every time I take a sip, it makes me feel like I want to pass out. So like, yeah. So like just, being cognizant that like I'm going to feel bad for a second and then keep going. And then like trying to eat strategically. So like maybe not try to cram in a bunch of food as you're about to descend, or actually cramming in food as you're about to descend rather than when you're trying to eat going uphill. Like for me, that's a bad idea. So like if I know there's a big climb coming, I try to get in a bunch of calories and then really take advantage of the aid stations, like, and get a bunch of nutrition there.
Yeah, cool.
So for other people who are watching this and are wanting to run Hardrock, what's your biggest piece of advice for them coming out here and or training leading up to it?
Well, I think I guess if you can get in the mountains, that's awesome. Like I live in Washington, D.C., so like I'm a total flatlander with like no elevation. I think just being comfortable on trail, like being comfortable running at night, because like no one's finishing without going through the night. So like doing runs like, through the night, like I start runs at like 11 o'clock at night and run until like 4 a.m. Getting used to like running past your bedtime, I think is a big thing. Getting comfortable running with a headlamp, knowing how to use all your things, getting comfortable with poles, getting comfortable with a pack on with weight, and then being able to fuel for that long. I feel like a lot of people don't. I know, speaking from experience, like I didn't know how to fuel for like more than 24 hours. So like, being comfortable, like being able to take in calories, and then. It's particularly for me, like I do a lot of stuff with like weights and like gym work and like strength training. I think like if you can't get on the mountains and do that kind of stuff, like augmenting it with that. And then I've done a lot of stuff with like weight vest. I think that's a big helper for people that maybe don't have as much access to big mountains. And then getting comfortable like climbing for a really long time. Like, and you can do that on a treadmill pretty like easily, but like there's a big difference between a 15-minute climb and like a 90-minute climb. Yeah. And like just being comfortable knowing like, oh, this is, and then like I use like a Landis, so it'll show you like how many feet you're going per minute.
Okay.
And just knowing like, oh, 34 feet in 10 minutes, I'm only going 300 feet. So like this is a 1,000-foot climb. So that's going to take at least 30 minutes. Like, just like being comfortable with like what you're expected to do during the race. And then like also like having the right kit, I think is important too. Yeah.
I was going to ask a little bit about that because you mentioned you're testing some gear. So that's super interesting. Is this like footwear? Is it other stuff? Tell us a little bit about the gear test.
Yeah, I'm going to be testing like a bunch of different things. So I've got Teva athlete. So we're testing like we have the new Teva FKTs that I've been running in for probably about like 2 weeks now.
That's a shoe.
Yeah, it's a shoe. I'm wearing it right now,
cool.
actually.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Teva that I wore, the Avon Trail on the Appalachian Trail.
Okay.
So it's just a little luggier for the conditions here. So I'll be using that, and it's got it was cool. They took a bunch of the feedback that I had from that prototype and like put it into this. So it's like got places for gaiters and then we like created like a quiver for like poles. So that'll be kind of cool. And then I got a bunch of like Backline, which is like my apparel sponsor, like kit that I'm going to be trying out too.
Sweet.
So like that kind of stuff. Like just to like I've used it all before, but like to just like, I mean, there's no better testing ground than Hardrock. So like if it works here, it's going to work anywhere. Like, I mean, I did my Dewey Beach 100 miler, which is just like 1 mile down and back in a lot of these things, but like that's not the same as going up Handies or just like the different conditions that you're going to be expected to navigate.
So they're external gaiters. There's a spot for external gaiters. They're not built into the shoe. Okay, got it.
We did have some that were built in, but I like the external more, so we kind of shifted.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's fun. Like they do a really good job with like taking feedback and then like applying it.
It's cool you get to be part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's really neat. Yeah.
You have something else?
No, I don't have any other questions. Do you have any more?
I think, I have one or two more. I think just,
Okay.
I guess, curious, speaking as, you're a father. So kind of how does being a dad play into you continuing to do this? I mean, I'm a mother, so it's like at some point, like our families are involved in this
100%,
sport.
yeah.
But yeah, is there anything that like you just kind of hope to be an example for your sons, or how do you think about yourself as a parent and an endurance athlete? That's a pretty big question, but I'm curious.
I mean, I feel like they've always been I was a professional athlete before the kids were born, and like set records in this, like set a world record with like our son Pearson in a jog stroller when he was like 10 months
Is that
old.
the Spider-Man one? Or
No, it was like a jog.
Just the jogger.
Like just Pierce and I, and then I did the Spider-Man
Okay.
and the Elvis
Okay.
and like all those things. And like this year I set the record as like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
But
awesome.
like last year, Pierce and I ran our first like marathon together. Pierce is gonna be 19 on Friday, so that'll be like during Hardrock will be his birthday, and that's hard. Like you have to like navigate like family time with time in the sport, and like he's a part of a lot of the things we do, and so is Grant, our other son. But you can't be everywhere all the time, so you just try to be as involved as possible, and like that's why I only got out here on Saturdays, because I was spending time with the family. And then the week after we're going to be in the British Virgin Islands setting some like FKTs, and like
Cool.
they're going to be a part of that.
Oh,
So that'll
cool.
be like 10 days of like running around on the mountains all over the British Virgin Islands,
Jeez.
and then spending the rest of the time with the family.
Amazing.
Have you ever had your kids out here to crew or pace you, or your?
Yeah, they came out one year and they did like the Hardrock Mile. Like I have like the coolest picture of them. Like it was like sideways rain, and we're like running into the finish line together. And that's like one of my favorite pictures that I have. Is like, I think that might have been my first, I think that was my second Hardrock. So probably like 2017 maybe. The reason they're not here more often is my wife really struggles at altitude.
Oh, okay.
So like
Okay.
she's great until like 7,000 feet, and then above that, it's like just not her thing. So yeah,
That'd be
I'm
hard.
hoping that at some point, like the kids will be out here and be able to crew and pace me again. But yeah, it's
We can
tough.
give Pierce a shout out on the live stream.
Oh my God,
a happy
Saturday-
birthday.
Yeah, like Friday would be so cool. And like, we were texting this morning, and he's like, "Oh, now you have to win because it's my birthday." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know about that, but I'll definitely be out there pushing hard."
Do you want to ask anything about the Earth Roamer?
I-
You
yeah,
rolled
okay,
up.
yeah,
You
yeah,
rolled
yeah.
up to Hardrock in a pretty awesome rig. So
Yeah. So, there's a couple people on the crew here who have pretty big trucks, but you pulled up in the biggest truck. So tell us a little bit about the Earth Roamer that you're rolling around in, and what it's like being in that massive of a vehicle.
Yeah, so for people that haven't seen an Earth Roamer, I feel like we should have like a projection now.
we could put it in after maybe.
Yeah,
a little
yeah, like post-scripted
pop-up.
or something. But it's like I think the best way, my buddy Tom and I are the ones who rented it, and like I feel like it's not ours. Like I don't own it. It's like a rental. We did it through Outdoorsy. It's like totally cool. But it's it looks like a military vehicle, but like a super swanky one, like all black with like rhino skin and like these 45-inch tires that look like they could just like roll over like fences and stuff, like tank tracks.
Right.
But the inside looks like a fancy yacht. Like it's like super crazy, and everything's like really thoughtfully dialed. Like you open the door to the back, and like the stairs like come out, and like it's got a wine rack
Wow.
and like a full shower and kitchen and induction.
So during Hardrock, your goal is to avoid getting inside that thing.
Oh, I am not going anywhere near that thing. That thing is way too comfortable.
Sounds
Like,
really comfortable.
Yeah, I just want I don't want to. I just want it to be there so that our crew is there.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Everybody else is comfortable.
Yeah, but basically, and I got to give a big shout out to my buddy Tom. He's been super into like van life, and like he's been like testing out different things, and so it's basically like his wife's like, don't buy anything, you can rent whatever you want, and so he was like, okay, cool, and so like that's why we have like the super cool truck, is because
Very cool.
he wants to like see if it's something that he's interested in.
Yeah, that's too cool. You don't see many of those out rolling around. So it was, when you see it roll into town, all the Sprinter vans even look at it. They're just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like that is amazing.
Yeah, like
There's gonna be some cool photos.
The scale is really hard. Like I did a picture where I like put my hand up because like we were taking pictures and you couldn't really tell like
The
how
scale,
big it was.
yeah.
And like even when we rented it online, you see the picture and you're like, oh, whatever. It's like a big truck, and it's like it's not a big truck. It's like massive.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, the outside's wild and tough, but the inside is, what do we call it? Smooth and swanky?
Yes. Yeah.
Wild and tough. Dan had to throw that in there. The wild and tough.
It is, yeah. And I feel like it's a good opportunity to like, get to see what you're interested in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very cool. Well, best of luck in your
Thank
run. Hope you enjoy it out there. And thanks so much for sitting down with us. And we will give a shout out to your son.
That would be great. Pierce.
On happy birthday to Pierce
Yeah.
on Saturday.
Yeah, and then just another thing that makes Pierce's birthday even cooler, if you're near a 7-Eleven, they give out free Slurpees for Pierce's birthday. So like 7-Eleven,
Every 7-Eleven.
I'm pretty sure. Like someone should double check that, but like yeah.
How
so
did this happen?
It's because it's 7-Eleven. It's
Yeah,
like
because it's July 11th.
Because
Yeah.
his birthday's on 7-Eleven.
well, not because of Pierce, but like
Yeah,
it's like
on
it's,
7-Eleven.
Yeah,
Okay.
7-Eleven.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
But yeah,
So pop in there.
Yeah,
That makes
so
sense.
like if you get a free Slurpee because of Pierce or because of the shout out, like that would be amazing. Let us know.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Anything else you guys need or?
No?
No, thank you so much. We'll be curious to see how the Teva shoe, the FKT, is holding up out there. Hopefully it's
very
great
much,
for you. And no, thank you.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
can't wait
that's
to see how
awesome,
Mike holds up out there.
Yeah, man. Thanks, guys.